On today's episode of The Long Take, Justyn and Ken will discuss the Oscars.
We're gonna talk about the Oscars, and then we're gonna talk about 2016, the movies that are coming out this year. We probably should have said that, but I'll fit that in there.
Are we gonna make our predictions?
Predictions for the Oscars? You want to do that? You want to do that here?
I mean, we're gonna talk about who's nominated.
I guess we can do that. We can, as we go through it. So let's. All right. So the
just
Academy
like off
Awards.
the cuff, like, oh yeah, I think this. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right.
Here's what we're gonna do. I thought about this.
Okay.
The Oscars. Let's talk about. First of all, what's nominated for Best Picture? We'll talk about like that, and then the technical awards. Then we'll go into the actors, and then we'll talk about the thing that we're gonna have to talk about. Right? You know what we're gonna have to talk about. We'll get it. Right. Oscars, so white. We gotta.
Oh yeah.
We gotta talk.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But let's because you know what. Look, Chris Rock's gonna host. He's gonna have a lot of interesting things to say. I'm personally not gonna boycott the Oscars.
I'm watching because I haven't seen Chris Rock do stand up in a while.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, this is a weird year, though. This is a weird year for the Oscars. It's weird because, I don't know, is it because 2015 was such a great year that when, like, the Oscars pick whatever movies they pick, you're like, really, that one? I mean, I guess that one was pretty good, but that one? And then, like, the movie that everyone sort of gravitates towards, you're like, really? That movie is the best movie of the year? I'm not quite sure. So let's go into Best Picture. All right, you got The Big Short, Bridge of Spies.
You got Bridge of Spies.
And then you have Brooklyn.
And then Mad Max Fury Road.
And then The Martian.
And then The Revenant.
And then Room.
And last but not least, only 8 nominations this year, Spotlight.
Yeah, 8 nominations. I really don't get that process. And I think they've talked about making it 10 again, which they should. It should be...
Just like always 10?
Because for 2009 and 2010, it was 10. It was 10.
Right. Because it was like at least 5, no more than 10. And
yeah, since then.
You know.
Yeah. But for those... Because, like, there was that controversy in '08 when, like, The Dark Knight didn't get nominated for Best Picture. And, like, a lot of people were kind of like, what the hell is going on? So they're like, fine, We'll extend it. We'll extend it to 10. And then for some reason, there wasn't even like any real good reason. They were like, you know what, 10's too many. Let's make it between 5 and 10. And it hasn't been 10 since. And last year, how many were nominated last year?
It wasn't 10, it was 9 last year, right?
Was it 9? Let me look. Was it 9? Let's see. Birdman, American Sniper, Boyhood, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it was 8 last year too. So I really don't know where they're getting these fucking numbers from. And okay, so at first glance, when I first looked at the most glaring omission to me was Carol. Best Supporting Actress, Best Actress nominations, Best Adapted Screenplay nomination. Let's see, Best Original Score, Best Cinematography, Costume Design.
Yeah, and this happens like every year. You got something that's nominated for a bunch of other awards. Sometimes it's even like, I think with Argo, wasn't it like Ben Affleck was nominated for directing, but the movie itself wasn't nominated for Best Picture?
No, Argo won Best Picture,
but Damon... Oh, yeah. Did I say Damon? Sorry, Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck wasn't nominated for Best Director. That's what happened.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, weird things like that has happened. I feel like more now of the past couple of years with between the 5-10 thing going on. I feel like there's been more weird omissions and additions. Like, I remember the first one was in 2011 when Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close was nominated for Best Picture, and then like one other nomination, and it was like, Wait, what? How can a movie get just 2 nominations? And one of them be Best Picture, and then it happened last year with Selma, which was just like, really? Like on the opposite.
They should just keep it to 5. You know, they should just like everything else is 5 categories.
I like
max.
10. To be honest, I like 10. I think 10 shows a more. It gets smaller movies, potentially smaller movies nominated. Like this year, you know, Brooklyn and Room. You know, I think it's good to have those movies get in the spotlight. And Spotlight. You know, when they otherwise wouldn't have. Maybe they would.
Yeah, like let's look at this list right here. Like if this is just 5, then what do we have here? I guess probably wouldn't see Mad Max nominated.
You probably wouldn't. No.
Probably wouldn't see Room.
Probably not.
I think Spotlight gets nominated. The Revenant gets nominated. Martian gets nominated.
Big
Short, and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But maybe not even Bridge of Spies.
Or maybe not Brooklyn. Maybe Bridge of Spies. The best indicator is director, right? And Miller being nominated for Best Director probably is a good clue that that movie might have been nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, but if it was just 5, like usually those Best Picture nominees are never action movies or comedies. They're never comedies, but you know they're always like those Oscar bait drama movies, you know, historical period pieces or you know whatever they may be. They're usually not like movies like Mad Max. Yeah,
but I don't know. It had editing, it had director. Yeah. I think it had a good shot. I don't, but I probably a better shot than The Martian, which didn't get nominated for Best Director. You know what I mean? So
yeah, Ridley Scott, nothing for you.
But the big
that's interesting though.
Yeah, right now it seems, at this moment, because The Big Short won the Producers Guild Award for Best Picture. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the Producers Guild Award for Best Picture matches Best Picture at the Academy way more often than the Golden Globes. Because the Golden Globes, that's just Hollywood Foreign Press. They have nothing to do. Nobody in that, like, group, that body, has anything to do with the Academy. Producers Guild, on the other hand, the Producers Guild, the producers branch of the Academy, they're all in the Producers Guild. So there's
so those are guys that are voting in both contests.
Yeah, a lot of people from the Producers Guild are.
Yeah, and they're probably going to vote the same.
Yeah,
I mean, they're definitely going to vote the same.
Because the nominations were pretty much the same too. Point. So, I mean,
yeah.
So it looks like it might be The Big Short.
So, what is that? Do you agree? Do you think it's going to be Big Short?
I think it could be. I think it's kind of strange that that's the movie that winds up winning Best Picture, but it looks like that could be it. I wouldn't sleep.
I get it because like a lot of the times with movies like this, like you can kind of see the narrative or like see why that movie, and with this, it's the housing crisis and educating the population about this thing that happened. Even though like when I watched The Big Short, I felt more inclined to like actually learn more about, because there's so much information. Like by the end of it, I was like, CDOs and blah 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 blah. Like I need to write all this down and figure this out. So, but I think that's part of it. It's not. It's never just the movie. It's like the movie and the story behind it and how it affects. Sometimes it's just the movie, but more often than not, there's something else going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that. I think it's that. I think it could also just be that everyone. It's a movie that everyone can agree on. You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of like, well, I have the least amount of problems with this movie. You know what I mean? And I thought that was going to be Spotlight.
Yeah, what kind of problems do people like? I thought Spotlight. If I had to pick, if I had to vote in this, I would vote for Spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the
because that's another thing that just greatly affected. Like that was all throughout the news to the point where it kind of just became, unfortunately, something that we connected with the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
Being inappropriate and molesting children.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really how it all got out.
Well, you know what?
That's a fascinating story.
I think what keeps Spotlight in the game is the acting branch, because that's a big cast. It kind of depends on, these guild awards, Screen Actors Guild, Producers Guild, Directors Guild.
Yeah.
Pretty much if Adam McKay winds up winning the Directors Guild award, it's done. But I think George Miller is going to win the Directors Guild. I think as far as best directors, I think George Miller has more of a push for that.
I think, the same thing goes for the Oscars, like with the directing category, just because he's never won before, and here he is, like, making his first movie in so many years. It just makes sense to, like, we got to give it to him now.
Mm-hmm.
He's come back and graced us with this awesome movie that's just loved by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how that gets topped.
Yeah,
Iñárritu, McKay. Yeah.
I mean, he does have one Academy Award, George Miller, but not for Best Director. So he won for.
Oh, does he?
Feet.
Oh, my mistake.
Remember, he.
Are you serious?
We talked about this in the 2015 preview episode. George Miller, as much as
okay, I remember that now.
Is known for the Mad Max movies. He also directed Happy Feet, Babe, Pig in the City, Happy Feet 2. And I don't want to say what, but
what?
I watched Happy Feet not too long ago after I watched Mad Max Fury Road.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, I saw similarities.
Shut up.
In Happy Feet and Mad Max Fury Road. You want to know what the biggest similarity is? Locations. Happy Feet takes place in tundra, like the Antarctica. Mad Max Fury Road takes place in the desert. It's like exact opposite
You're right. Wow.
climate. And the Happy Feet is it's just one location for almost the entire thing. And it has to do with there's the one penguin who can't do what all the other penguins can do. He can dance, he can tap dance, but they think he's weird because he can tap dance.
What the hell does that have to do with Mad Max?
Because Max doesn't conform with the status quo, which is these crazy assholes.
Neither does Furiosa.
Yeah, she's
the star of the show.
Well, but here's the thing. She initially goes. She's at first she's one of their best drivers, right?
Yeah.
And she decides to go against. She has her own agenda, and in Happy Feet, the penguin's love interest does the same thing. She decides, you know what?
You're really giving this some thought, huh?
She says, you know what? I think that you are a great dancer, and even though I wish that you sang as well as I did, I think I could still love you enough to, see where this goes.
Yeah, you're right. There are a lot of parallels between these two movies. I should give it another watch. Maybe do a little marathon. We could watch Babe 2, Pig in the City, Happy Feet, and Mad Max Fury Road, and see how they all tie in together.
I mean, hey, he wouldn't direct Happy Feet. There's got to be some type of lineage there. It's not like I'm directing Happy Feet because I'm a fucking crazy guy. No, there's got to be something there, right? I mean, right? No? Now, Happy Feet 2, I'm not sure. I haven't seen Happy Feet 2.
Neither have I.
But
when I said that Miller he doesn't have any directing awards, right? That's where I was going. I didn't realize that he had, that his movies had been successful in the past. but I know that he's an acclaimed director who's never gotten that recognition.
Yeah, and
and neither has Ridley Scott, huh? Ridley Scott's never gotten a directing.
No, he has not. He wasn't even nominated this year, which is crazy.
I know. Yeah, that's why I bring it up. And
I don't.
Marshall was a great movie.
It could be a case. Maybe he would have been the 6th nominee. I don't know. But I guess moving over to that category, Adam McKay for Big Short, George Miller for Mad Max Fury Road, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu for The Revenant, Lenny Abrahamson for Room, and Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. First of all, I have no problem with those nominees. I think Adam McKay, I thought he did a pretty damn good job with The Big Short. And
I feel bad for Ridley Scott. That's all.
Yeah.
I have no problems with the it's a tough competition. You only got 5 slots. Who's going to get in there? Like, you can make an argument for Spielberg with Bridge of Spies.
Of course.
First, really, he's had an amazing career, but it's been a while. It's been a couple years since Lincoln, I guess.
Yeah.
Since he's had a movie of this caliber that is, in Oscar contention. So
I mean,
it's tough.
You can only pick and Todd Haynes of Carol, of course. I mean, Carol wasn't even nominated for Best Picture, so you can't quite make too much for gripe. I mean, but it just feels like a door is kind of slammed on Carol there. Here you have a lesbian romantic drama, and 10 years after Brokeback Mountain was nominated, was another acclaimed film. We're talking about flat out acclaim, and Brokeback inexplicably crash wins over Brokeback Mountain. And when you're watching Brokeback Mountain now, and it still feels odd because it's so clear that was, of those 5 nominees, that was the best movie of those 5 nominees, and it's not even a question. This year there are so many good movies, but 2005, 04, there was really the one movie, or 1 or 2 movies you could really say was the best. Because the mid 2000s were kind of a dry period, and to say Crash was better than Brokeback Mountain, which is a clear artistic achievement. And they gave Ang Lee Best Director award for that.
And then they gave another movie. Yeah.
So for this time, it's not even they could give a 9th nominee. They could do 10 nominees, and Carol's not in the list. And you find out just how many old people are in the Academy and how dominant the old sector.
A bunch of old white guys.
Yeah. It's just the idea that if any love story that involved a male or a female could get nominated and or win Best Picture. I mean, if Carol can't do it, if Brokeback Mountain can't do it, then forget it. I really don't see how it could ever happen until they completely change until all those old people die.
Well, it can't live forever.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Just have to be patient.
Having said that, it's fun to see Lenny Abrahamson, who directed Frank last year, completely different movie and tone and pretty much everything. And here he comes with Room, and it gets the acclaim, and Brie Larson will probably win Best Actress, and I'm happy for him. Again, that's not a nominee, or it's that's a guy who's never been nominated before, and good for him. He's from Ireland, and just seems like a good guy to get nominated. But then you have,
and it was a great movie.
Yeah, exactly. So who else? Tom McCarthy, again, actor, started as an actor, became a director, made a couple of solid films, then made The Cobbler with Adam Sandler, which I haven't even seen, but I heard that was a.
Oh really? He made The Cobbler?
Yeah.
It's on Netflix if you're interested.
I'm not, though. That's the problem. When it comes out with Spotlight, it's great. It's got the acclaim. And again, it seemed like a no-brainer. And it's not a flashy film, but I think that he deserves to be nominated because I think there is something to be said about that kind of invisibility almost that where he.
With regards to Spotlight.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did a great job, like making the story and these characters front and center. And I like the nomination because it shows you it's not about the most directing. It's not about like the showiest directing. I feel like
Right.
they really got they really showcased here that they recognize what McCarthy did impressive work on that film. So, who's gonna win? I would say George Miller.
I've got him circled too. Yeah, I think Mad Max is going to take it. George Miller.
And I,
Just kind of it's like a legacy vote, And I mean, Iñárritu won it last year, so the Revenant gets crossed out. Room, it's a great movie, but this is like the first time he's being nominated, so you can make the case like, oh, he'll be back, so that's gone. And then it's just between The Big Short and Spotlight, and then it's just I don't know. I think McKay has his thing going for him, like coming from comedy. That's an interesting story. I don't really know what the story behind the making of Spotlight is, but I think Mad Max has that's where I'm leaning. That's my prediction.
yeah.
You too?
Yes, sir. Let's go through some of these tech categories and
And
then we'll go into the actors and actresses.
Okay, we'll see. The
I'm going to
actors
start with
last.
visual effects, which I think is a really interesting category because I don't think there's an easy pick there. First of all, I mean, I love that Ex Machina got nominated for best visual effects. It's kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
Usually if there's going to be a tentpole or a blockbuster to get nominated, it's going to be in that category. And they do have Star Wars Force Awakens in that category. And they have Revenant, which I guess that's largely due to the bear.
The bear scene. Yeah. Of course.
The Martian
and like all the it is technically amazing. Just the long take stuff that Iñárritu does, and like arrows flying around, and he deserves that.
But I think this goes to Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, because that really made the case. Like, even though Star Wars has been talking about practical effects and like an emphasis on that, Mad Max did it first, and it was
this year.
It was adored. First this year. But just like it came out earlier in the year and blew people away, and people were praising it left and right because of the fact that it came out with these practical effects. It just really blended perfectly CGI and real stunt work, and made it look just gorgeous.
Yeah, so you got Ex Machina, Mad Max Fury Road, Martian, Revenant, Star Wars Force Awakens, and I guess we both agree Fury Road will probably take visual effects.
Yeah. Are you confused? Like, I know The Martian is a space movie, and there are some really impressive visuals, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of that movie is just kind of like Matt Damon doing the Castaway thing.
Castaway on Mars. I mean,
I know. Yeah,
recreating Mars like that, and there's I mean, the whole
there's a lot that goes into it.
The whole sequence.
I guess
where
the
he goes
fact that
space and there's a lot of interesting. I wasn't surprised at all that it was nominated for visual effects. I'll put it like that.
I guess the fact that I forgot, like, not forgot, but just took for granted that he's on Mars.
Yeah.
And it just, like, that he's stuck there. That's amazing. That's saying a lot. Because they did that really well to the point where that's just the background.
Yeah.
So, but, I gotta go with Mad Max Fury Road on that one.
I would also say Mad Max Fury Road takes editing. You got Big Short, Fury Road, Revenant, Spotlight, Star Wars Force Awakens. I mean, those action sequences are non-stop. They're thrilling. And I think that I would be really happy even if Big Short, which I have no problem with winning Best Picture, even if it winds up winning Best Picture, I would love if Mad Max Fury Road gets celebrated for being the technical achievement that it is. I would love for it to win Best Picture too, but it's not. Let's not even pretend it's going to happen. You know what I mean?
What's that?
I said I would love for Fury Road to win Best Picture, but let's pretend.
Yeah.
Why even do that to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Why even put that hopes up there? But I mean, you could make the argument for The Revenant too because it has those long takes and it's very seamless. But I think Fury Road is just the more impressive technical film. And yeah, I Birdman.
That's a tough call. I don't know.
Birdman.
I'm kind of torn between The Revenant and Mad Max. What were you saying about Birdman? Because that's the one that got all the technical awards last year, right?
Did it win?
Well, it won for editing, no? Just because of the way that it was put together.
Actually, it didn't win for editing. Not according to this little. All right, I'm looking at the wrong freaking.
Come on, man.
What?
Come on. You're looking at the wrong thing. Come on, man.
Okay. It wasn't even nominated for... Wait, was it not even nominated for Best Editing? That can't be right. Come on, Wikipedia. That's...
Let me give you some backup here.
I would be surprised if that was true. I mean...
Which Oscars are these? It doesn't say.
I'll take a look right here.
Oscars.
Oh, Whiplash won last year. Oh.
For editing? Really?
Yeah, and Birdman wasn't even nominated. I didn't even realize that. How did we overlook? I mean, weird.
That is funny.
Whiplash, American Sniper, Boyhood, Grand Budapest Hotel, and The Imitation Game was nominated for Best Editing. That is strange. Okay, yeah. I can see. I think that gives you... I think that... I'll say this. That makes a strong case for Birdman.
The Revenant?
But I'm still going to go with Mad Max Fury Road. I think it's going to...
You just called it Birdman.
Birdman's cousin.
Yeah, Birdman's little brother.
Yeah, I think it's going to be... I think Mad Max Fury Road takes most of these awards standing up. You know what I mean? I just... Cause
you think it's going to clean house, huh?
Because
it's not going to get any of the other stuff. Like, directing possibly, but it's not going to get Best Picture. There are no actors that are nominated. Oh, Tom Hardy. No, yeah, I just saw Tom Hardy, but it's not for Mad Max. Never mind. And it wouldn't be. I guess it doesn't really say much. Yeah, I don't know, man. I got to go with The Revenant.
How many Oscars did? I feel like it's going to be like Gravity. Gravity won 7 Oscars it didn't win Best Picture. You know what I mean? It won Best Director.
Yeah.
It won Best Editing. It won Cinematography. It won.
And how often does the Academy do that? Where like some other movie will get all these awards and they'll give Best Picture to something else?
Well, I think what happens there is, I think it's a matter of the writing and the acting. You know, the actors branch, in particular, that's a strong branch, a strong group, and you know every branch votes for like the final, the nominees. So you know, I think that's what happens is that, but even then, I think people look at that and they'll say like, all right, technically yes, Mad Max Fury Road has the goods. But acting, writing, directing, you know, even if they pick George Miller for directing, but like the combination of all that, they'll probably go with something more, you know, drama. It depends on how overpowering. Like you think Titanic, where it's like this is an epic of all, you know, at least at the time they would think this is a 3-hour epic. It's undeniable. We haven't really had that kind of movie in a while where it wins like 10 Oscars and you're like, oh shit, you know. I can't think of a movie like that lately. I don't. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, was that the last one to win like
the one that cleaned house?
A shitload of I think so, because I think pretty much everything else. Probably that's an interesting thing to look into. I know Slumdog Millionaire won 8 Oscars, but I'm not sure. That's interesting, actually. It's kind of weird to think about Slumdog Millionaire like that, because it did win like 8 Oscars.
Titanic and Return of the King. 3 films have won 11 awards.
Yeah.
Ben-Hur, Titanic, and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Most nominations received by a single film. Titanic, yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about like a movie that wins like at least 8. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, but yeah.
A pretty-
I didn't realize that Return of the King won every category that it was nominated
Yeah.
for. That's amazing.
but yeah, you look at like Slumdog Millionaire, it won original song, original score, film editing, sound mixing, cinematography, and then adapted screenplay, directing, and then picture. I think that's the thing. I don't think Titanic was nominated for best screenplay, which I understandably, and I think it only got like 1 nomination for acting, but I think that was just the case of like it was unstoppable. It was an epic.
Yeah.
Of so many, it was just like the epic of our time. It's really like a one of a kind thing for Titanic to be in that position. So yeah, I think Mad Max Fury Road. I love the film. I think it's one of the best. I think it's one of the best blockbuster films of the last like 15 years. I think it's a classic already. I think it's reached that status. But I don't think it's like the epic. I don't think it tells like the story that, you know, Oscar voters like respond to. They'll respond to both the visuals and the epicness of it. You know, like if you think of, like last year, if Interstellar's story was was like almost as good as like the effects, I think Interstellar could have like ridden right through the Oscars last year. You know, because I think Birdman was kind of a weird win, but there wasn't really like that movie that was like, oh shit, this movie's gonna win 8 Oscars. There wasn't that type of movie last year. There was enough great movies that everything was kind of split apart,
muddled up.
Yeah. There wasn't that one movie that just towered over.
Nothing stood above the rest. Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, if Interstellar had like a great story and like McConaughey was like amazing acting, and then like he wins second in a row Oscar, and like you know Nolan wins screenplay and director, and then like then you start talking about holy shit, this is gonna win like 8 Oscars or 10 Oscars.
Ken, you'll drive yourself crazy wondering what if.
No, yeah. I'm just saying that would be the type of movie to do that. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, Interstellar could have done it if only it executed on some of those things.
It's kind of funny to see what other categories Fury Road is nominated in. You know, visual effects, editing, costume design,
makeup and hairstyle.
Yeah. Production design, cinematography, sound mixing, sound editing. Holy fuck. That is crazy.
And animated short film too.
Hey, you almost got me there.
Almost got me. So you think it's gonna clean house in those technical categories?
I would think like okay. So here's what I would think that's not gonna happen. All right, I'll go.
Let's breeze through this.
I'll go
some
like
of these.
This. I'll go like this. Production design might be a tough one because it's mostly outdoors. There's a lot of interesting. It obviously has a lot of interesting stuff to it, but I think. And so is Revenant. Revenant is also a very outdoors film. And production design, they like to see like built sets. I think.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. For one of those movies to win, I think like people like to see like. You know, because everyone's voting for these. So they're like, what looked like production design-y? You know what I mean? So it's like...
Well, don't they usually... I know that like the sound mixing and the sound editing, they kind of lump into one presentation when they give that award out. Don't they lump production design in with something else? Is it makeup?
Usually makeup and costume design is like usually around the same thing. Maybe like visual effects or something like that.
Yeah.
I would say Bridge of Spies has a good chance in production design, and The Martian. I think The Martian. You know what, The Martian.
I was thinking The Martian.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. So that's right. So let me say, I think Mad Max Fury Road is going to win visual effects, editing, cinematography. I think it could win cinematography. I think the only
Oh wait, I don't see cinematography on my page here.
Cinematography has
There it
Carol.
is. You got The Hateful Eight, Carol, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, and Sicario.
I know. I mean, I'd love for Deakins to finally win his first Oscar, but Sicario only has a couple of nominations, and I just don't think it's got that juice. Revenant.
I agree with you, sir. What about the look of Carol, though? I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it looks amazing.
Carol looks amazing. Again, I don't think it's going to have that strong of a push for it. You know,
it ain't got the juice.
Hateful
What
Eight.
about The Hateful Eight?
That would be if again, it's like weird that Hateful Eight got snubbed in a lot of ways. I mean, Jennifer Jason Leigh was nominated, but no screenplay.
No Quentin for the Quentin.
Yeah, which is embarrassing. The more I think about it, the more embarrassing I think it is.
It's very embarrassing. Open mouth, insert foot.
And then original score. We'll get to that one because I actually think that might be the one where it could actually win. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I would say Robert Richardson has a great chance because of how it was shot. But I think Mad Max Fury Road is the more impressive looking film. It's fucking. I told you when we were talking about the movie at length. It's pure eye candy. I mean the goldish, orangey, like yellowy color of the desert and the sky just makes it that much more blue. And then oh my god, like the action sequence in like the storm, the dust storm, and that night sequence. Fuck yeah! If it doesn't win cinematography, there's a problem almost because Emmanuel.
Hey, are you like really close to your mic? Because you're clicking in and out.
Am I really close? I'm not that close at all, actually.
I don't know. Like sometimes you're clicking.
The sound might be where Star Wars might have some play sound, but I still think Fury Road wins those. I mean, it's nominated for so many of these awards.
It is.
You got to think that's
amazing.
You got to think that those branches were very impressed. So yeah, I would say effects, editing, cinematography, sound mixing, and sound editing, and then I would say directing. I think that's what Fury Road wins, and then just going through makeup and hairstyling. I have no idea. The 100-year-old man who climbed out the window disappeared. Never heard of it before.
Yeah, never heard of this one.
Never really heard anyone like talk about it.
I mean, if you haven't heard about it, then I don't know.
I mean, maybe it could win makeup and hairstyling too, because like it's either I would have to think it would either be between Fury Road or Revenant, and I feel like there's a lot more to the makeup and hairstyling in Fury Road, the Revenant, which is like people growing their beards and shit. So
I don't know, like they messed up Leo's hair pretty good in that movie.
That's true, but
it's a lot of tossing.
At the same time, do you remember the fucking villain in Mad Max Fury Road? That's a pretty great
Mad Max. It's definitely getting circled. You just reminded me of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
The makeup in that movie is insane.
Yeah, I'd have to think that it gets that award too. You just don't you don't usually associate like a tech heavy film with makeup and hairstyling, but when you look at that category, you see who's nominated. You're like, well, why not Mad Max Fury Road? You know?
Yeah.
So
that's what happens when you have a movie that's visually impressive on a computer and in real life. Mm-hmm. You can be nominated for visual effects and for makeup and hairstyling.
Mm-hmm. Now,
you want to talk about original score?
Original score. Oh, hold on, because I think costume design could probably go to like Cinderella or Carol. I think it's gonna be one of those more period like dressy. That's usually what.
Yeah, it always is. They always give it to some period piece where there's like nice dresses.
Or Danish Girl. Shit. I haven't seen Danish Girl yet, but
neither have I. But it
might go to Danish Girl.
That fits the criteria.
If you think about the nature of that movie, the story, I could see that going for. I'm gonna go with Danish Girl on that one.
That's a safe bet. That's a safe bet.
Yeah. Original song is kind of a weird one. Who
ever knows with these? 50 Shades of Grey it was a terrible movie, right? I didn't see it, but
As far as
the song was huge.
Yeah, as far as
but
the
if you're going to
song-
nominate that song, then you should nominate the song from Fast and Furious, because that was a huge song.
Yeah.
So what's the criteria there? I don't know. And Spectre didn't really get a whole lot of or writings on the wall, I should say.
I think it's going to be the Lady Gaga song from The Hunting Ground. Because
Till It Happens to You.
that did win the Globe.
That's right. They won the Golden Globe.
So I
That
mean,
awkward.
again, I mean, they don't always overlap, but I could see that overlapping just because
Yeah.
there's at least some respectability to that one winning, because Hunting Ground's about campus rapes and documentary about college campus rapes on college campuses. So I could see that.
And Lady Gaga wrote an original song for this.
Yeah, with Diane Warren.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't see Sam Smith winning for Writings on the Wall because, this is just a couple years after Adele won for Skyfall, and come on, it's not nearly as impressive as Skyfall.
Yeah, people were trashing this song, and maybe if they picked that Radiohead song, might be singing a different tune, but they didn't. They passed on.
They literally
you heard that, didn't you?
Tune.
Yeah. Did you hear Did you hear Spectre? Radiohead's Spectre?
I actually haven't yet.
Oh, you should check it out, man.
It
kind of reminds me of Pyramid Song.
I will. I promise. Actually, I think I did. I think I listened.
It came out on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I think I did listen to it.
They just dropped it.
I'll have to listen to it again. Okay, so score. That one I think goes to Hateful Eight.
Yeah, let's get to it, man. Definitely. Ennio Morricone, sorry. Long time coming for that guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would be a crime for it to go to anybody else. John Williams already won for Star Wars. Cross him off.
Yeah.
And who did Bridge of Spies?
Was
it also John Williams?
Thomas Newman.
Newman.
So Spielberg. Carol being nominated is a nice touch. Sicario has a pretty damn good electronic score. That.
Yeah. Oh, you're right, man. I forgot about that.
Pretty fucking that scene. They played that over.
It added a whole element to the movie. But yeah, here's another legacy pick, kind of with George Miller. You just got to give it to this guy.
I think so too. But I also think that the score is great. I think it's a great score.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. And just the idea behind it, this is the first Tarantino movie to really have a score, not a collection of songs. And how he went out and brought the guy that did all these great spaghetti westerns from back in the day. Nice, it's a nice story there, and yeah, the music was damn good.
Yeah. Just to go really quick, documentary feature. The only one of those I've seen. Funnily enough, the only one I've seen is Winter on Fire, which I had to watch for a review. I reviewed that movie on the playlist, which I thought was really good. But I think just spitballing, I think Amy has a good shot. That was a really acclaimed film about Amy Winehouse, and I really want to see it. I was hoping to go on Netflix because that was a movie that was always on my radar. Amy.
Yeah.
But I just.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now,
Is
right?
it? I hope so.
I thought I saw. I thought I saw her face on. I was browsing through Netflix the other day. I don't know. What Happened, Miss Simone's about Nina Simone, and when did they vote for this? Did they already place their votes?
No.
So everything maybe now's a good time to talk about the lack of color on these nominations.
Okay.
Because they might. And this is just I just thought about this just now, but they might just say, you know what? Here's a documentary about a black woman. Let's give let's do the what they consider an admirable thing and give her the award, or give the filmmakers who made this movie an award, just so that there's some color associated with a win, because that's the only real opportunity, other than maybe The Weeknd winning for Earned It.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think there's any merit to that?
Yeah. I see your point. I just don't know if it's going to happen. I mean,
wasn't Lauryn Hill? I know they released an album of a bunch of people covering Nina Simone's songs. I think Lauryn Hill was behind the production of this.
Was she?
Movie.
But she's not gonna. She wouldn't win. It's Liz Garbus Amy Hobby, and Justin Wilkes. So,
What happened?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just spitballing. I do want to watch Miss Simone at some point, but it's just spitballing. I'm gonna say Amy. For foreign language film, the only one I've seen is Son of Saul, but I think that's gonna win. I'm pretty confident that's gonna win. Animated feature,
just from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Animated feature.
Inside Out. That's it.
Where are
It's
we?
pretty
cut and dry.
Pretty cut and dry.
No, I just see animated short film. Where the hell's animated feature? I got this all printed out here. Oh, here we go. Animated feature film. Anomalisa, Boy and the World, Inside Out, Shaun the Sheep movie, and When Martin. So it's between Anomalisa and Inside Out and Inside Out.
For Anomalisa, it's just nice that a movie like that even gets nominated in that category with like the Disney and the
yeah.
So yeah, I was just happy it was nominated. So like, there's no way it's going to win Best Picture. So let's just, Best Animated Film. So
yeah,
I was just happy it was at least nominated. But instead,
did you see any of the animated short films? Did you see any of the animated?
No, I haven't seen. I'm skipping the shorts because I haven't seen any of them. It's
what about live action short film?
I haven't seen any of those either. Have you?
No.
Oh wait.
I'm just asking.
No, animated short film. I saw Sanjay Super Team. That was a short film before. Good Dinosaur. That was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and I saw Good Dinosaur. So, and I've seen World of Tomorrow on Netflix. I heard a lot of good things about it, but I haven't seen it yet. So I do want to try and check that out because I heard a lot of great things about it.
I always wonder, like, whenever I watch the award, presented, I always want to like watch these short films because they always look so impressive.
They do.
And, people take chances with the animation style, and I just never catch up with them.
Oh well.
I gotta make it a point to watch some of these movies. We already said sound editing, sound mixing, right?
Yeah, I was gonna move to screenplay.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Adapted screenplay. We got The Big Short, Brooklyn, Carol, The Martian, and Room.
This one, before The Big Short won the PGA, this still might. I would have to believe that if Big Short's gonna if it's gonna be a frontrunner for Best Picture, and it's not gonna win Best Director,
then it's got to win this.
It's got to win this, and yeah, I would have to. And usually, looking back, if a movie wins Best Picture, it usually wins at least 3 Oscars. And I feel like I think Big Short has the strongest case for screenplay.
For screenplay.
And editing. Even though I think Mad Max Fury Road is going to win editing, the editing is very flashy in Big Short, so I could see it winning.
And then like the cuts to different celebrities and stuff, explaining things. The
only other place would be Best Supporting Actor for Christian Bale, but I feel like Stallone. I don't know. Maybe the Academy isn't as hot on Stallone as the whole Hollywood Foreign Press were with the Golden Globes. So maybe Christian Bale, but I don't know. Out of him and Steve Carell, I thought Steve Carell had the more impressive performance of the two of them in The Big Short. Even though I think Bale did a great job.
Yeah. And
Mark Rylance did a great job at Bridge of Spies, but I haven't really heard any real buzz since the movie came out. So I'm wondering, though, if Stallone could be the case like with Mickey Rourke with The Wrestler, when The Wrestler, it looked like, oh my god, Mickey Rourke could have a big comeback here. Maybe he's going to win the Oscar. And then Sean Penn won for Milk. And then that was it. That was that for Mickey Rourke. So that could happen here.
Yeah.
I think if it does happen, it might happen with The Big Short.
I feel like I was a lot more confident saying Sylvester Stallone is definitely going to win the Golden Globe. But as far as the Academy goes, I don't know how many of them really liked Creed. Obviously not very much if they didn't give Ryan Coogler a nomination for screenplay.
I mean, Yeah.
So, I don't know. you want to let's make a selection on screenplay before we move on to the actors.
Yeah, I would say. Here's what I was going to say about that screenplay. I personally feel with the adapted screenplay, even someone, I would give it personally to Room, because I think that was a fantastically scripted film, structurally, and the fact that she adapted it from her own novel and was able to bring out a lot of cinematic elements and with these characters and like the usage of a limited space for half of the movie, but then the usage of like the limited because we'll talk about it. I'm sure we'll talk about it next week, but mentally, I feel like the first half of the movie it's like physically limited space. And then the second half of the film is mentally limited space. Like, mentally, they're still in that shed. And the way that's depicted, I think it starts with the script. And I think that's why Room should win. But because Big Short, if it's gonna win the Producers Guild, I mean, if it won the Producers Guild, it's probably gonna win Best Picture. So I would probably go with Big Short, but...
Yeah, it pains me to say it just because Room is such an exceptional story, great movie. But I think that the only award that gets is going to be Brie Larson with actress. Wait, what's missing from original screenplay? Is there I mean, I know I mentioned Coogler before, but is there something else? Were there any other glaring holes in that category?
Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. I mean, anyway. even though you kind of are happy to see Straight Outta Compton get nominated, all those screenwriters are white. Every single one of those screenwriters who wrote Straight Outta Compton were white. So I don't know how one would feel about that. And I'm happy.
Yeah, all the only black movies that are, and that's like the big controversy. Like the only black movies that are even up for any awards, the only people that are getting any recognition for those movies are the white people that are connected to them.
So strange.
And I don't know. It sucks, but should we be surprised?
I just think it's strange
that the Oscars are white. It's like one of the whitest shows in town. It's Hollywood,
Yeah, but
what was I listening to? Michael Moore was talking to what's his name, Mark Maron, and he was talking about race in Hollywood, and I guess because this was going on, they didn't touch on it directly, but he's saying like it's the only town where he'll go, and he'll get the only black people that he sees when he goes to Hollywood are the people that pick him up from the airport and the people that serve him drinks. He's going on meetings and stuff. It's just like older white people. So I don't know. There's never been a whole lot of color at the Academy Awards, and when there are people of color winning, it's kind of like a novelty thing, like a token thing, like, oh, here's this great slavery epic, we've got to give it an award, we've got to give it to 12 Years a Slave. What was it, the movie The Help, where they gave, I can't remember the actress's name, but she got an award for supporting actress, and she's somebody who's been acting for a long-ass time, and she's like, I don't know.
What?
It's always, long story short, it always seems like they're doing a big favor to to whatever, like by giving it recognition. It's never just this movie versus that movie.
It always seems like when they do win, you're because Octavia Spencer won for Best Supporting Actress that year.
Octavia Spencer, yeah. I mean, Denzel won for Training Day.
Jamie Foxx for Ray.
Jamie Foxx for Ray. Cuba Gooding Jr. when he did.
Jerry Maguire. Denzel Washington when he did. Oh, he also won for Glory. And Morgan Freeman won for $1 Million Baby. Forrest Whitaker won for Last King of Scotland. Halle Berry won for Monsters Ball. I mean, there was a period there where it seemed like you were at least getting one or two black actors in the acting nominations, at least one or two, which I think is a respectable number considering what's out there, And my problem is this, all right, because we're talking about the acting category right now.
Yeah, sure.
And the worst argument I've heard against this whole Oscars so white hashtag and all that, is that, well, maybe maybe black people weren't good enough this year. Maybe they just didn't make good enough movies. Maybe their movies should have been better. And then it's like, well, explain why Stallone got nominated. Explain why Straight Outta Compton got nominated. Explain that, right? But then it's also like, you can always make that argument every year. You can make that argument for the next 100 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When does it stop? When does it stop being like a glass ceiling? It's like, well, nope, you can't enter this club because you're just not good enough. You know what I mean? It's like, what exactly does that mean? What does it even mean to be not good enough? You're saying, let's look at best actor category. I haven't seen Danish Girl, but did Ed Redmayne really need to be nominated? Michael Fassbender and DiCaprio were pretty much locks, but Cranston, Trumbo didn't really have much of a not much buzz all year, and Cranston just kind of, I love Bryan Cranston, but he just kind of slails right through, and that just kind of happened. And yet, meanwhile, why doesn't anyone at least talk about Samuel Jackson seriously for The Hateful Eight? That he doesn't. Why doesn't he get a consideration? Why doesn't Michael B. Jordan get consideration for that for his performance in Creed? You know, there are a lot of clear cut performances. Or you think of the actor who played Eazy-E in Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking about. Like when you're talking about these white screenwriters who worked on Straight Outta Compton, if you liked that movie enough to nominate those guys for writing it, like, do you watch a movie and say, I'm really liking the writing? No, you're liking the movie that you're seeing. You're liking the performances that you're seing. It's a combination of all these things. Mm-hmm. So for you to say that you really like the writing, but you don't like the acting, it's just kind of ludicrous to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's like those aren't the big names. You know, those names aren't exciting because they haven't really been in many other prominent movies. Right. So that's how I explain it.
It seems weird because Straight Outta Compton, you know, it's a 2-hour and 20-minute movie, and it nailed it. I mean,
and it was hugely successful.
It was hugely successful, exactly. For a musical biopic like that, the way it managed to pull off what it did, I was very impressed by it. And because it's kind of a messy film structurally, but it was just kind of funny because it's nominated for original screenplay. But it's kind of a messy film structurally because it starts right before the formation of NWA, and then it just kind of ends when Dr. Dre decides to form the Aftermath. But like I didn't really understand.
You know, NWA is only really a thing or like group for the half of the movie, and then it's all like what happened after NWA after Ice Cube left. And that's when things get interesting. But everybody.
I really didn't think the screenplay was the most impressive aspect of the movie.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think the performances were great. I think
the guy that was Ice Cube's kid, right?
Yeah, O'Shea Jackson.
He did a really good job, O'Shea Jackson. And then the actor who played Eazy-E was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it would have been funny if Paul Giamatti and the white.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Were nominated.
He gets Best Supporting Actor in the screenwriters.
And then he wins. And he's like, sorry.
And he doesn't thank any of his black co-stars.
I want to thank Howard Stern for giving me a chance.
Fucking Howard Stern.
Howard.
Fucking
Howard.
Big vomit.
I don't know, man. But like, I think there's something to my point though, because once I realized that, I'm like, I think I'm onto something here, because it's like, you can
think I'm onto something.
You can make. Am I not right though? You can make that argument that like, well, maybe they just weren't good enough for forever because it's subjective, and there's no like science to it. You know, there's no like, well, they didn't do this, and this. That's why they weren't nominated. You know what I mean? It's like. The problem is with the studios not giving the proper push to these films. It's the Academy for not thinking out. Not even thinking. It's not even thinking about thinking outside the box. It's like these actors. they're in the box. They're not paying attention. You know what I mean? They're not.
Yeah.
They're just blatantly ignoring. That's what it feels like. It's like a blatant ignoring. This is a year after Selma. David Oyelowo doesn't get nominated for Martin Luther King, and then I've seen people have the nerve to be like, "Well, Selma wasn't that great. I mean, Oyelowo wasn't that great as Martin Luther King." Are you nuts? Why was it even out? Why was it nominated for Best Picture then? Why was it nominated for Best Picture then? If it wasn't, if it didn't at least have a good actor in it, if Ava DuVernay didn't craft a great film, why is it even nominated for Best Picture then? It makes no sense. You can't say, well, it was nominated for Best Picture, but it didn't have good enough directing, acting, or anything else. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think if someone was better represented last year, we wouldn't. It would probably be, there would be gripes this year, but I don't think it would be. I don't think it would have gotten as huge as it did. But I think like the combination of like the lack of representation last year and this year, I think, and it wasn't not just that, but what was left out. You know what I mean? It was like Selma just seems like it seemed like a no-brainer. You know, I was really surprised because it really is kind of an Oscar baity film in some ways, but it's good. It was in my top 5 last year, top 5 movies of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because I was really impressed by it. It had an appeal that was emotional to me. It had an emotional appeal. It brought me closer to Martin Luther King from an emotional standpoint. It's not just being like this fascinating historical figure. I feel like I finally started to understand who he was, flaws and all. I feel like it wasn't afraid to show him as someone who wasn't necessarily the best husband. You know what I mean? Or the best family man. You know what I mean? Who was so clinging on so hard to like trying to get the cause the way it is that other things wind up suffering as a result. You know, so that was kind of a slap in the face when it was nominated for Best Picture and then it wasn't nominated for the other categories. There just seemed to be no like respect, branch by branch, when it came to that movie being represented. And you know, now this year, and I guess we'll talk about 2016 another time because we kind of overdid it today. Best Actor. You got Bryan Cranston, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Michael Fassbender, and then you have Eddie Redmayne. Yeah. And I think Leo gets it this year. Justin, what do you think?
You know, it would be really shitty for him to get all this attention and, you know, just finally he's going to get it. Finally he's going to get it. He's, you know, he was mauled by a bear. He was left for dead. And in the like the production of this movie could be a movie in and of itself because it was such a nightmare. And, you know, people were freezing cold and starving, trying to make this thing, from what I've heard. So, an interesting thing that I heard in the case of Matt Damon, or for the case of Matt Damon, was you could take Matt Damon in The Martian and Leo in The Revenant, and if you swapped those two roles, could Matt Damon pull off The Revenant and could Leo pull off The Martian? I don't think Leo would be able to pull off The Martian as well as Matt Damon, and I think Matt Damon would be able to pull off The Revenant.
Probably. I could see that being the case. I mean, I do think Leonardo DiCaprio does have comedic chops. He showed that in Wolf of Wall Street.
True.
But I think he can only really do that if he's working with somebody. Whereas Matt Damon kind of he has that kind of like snarky personality.
Yeah, he's just like he's entertaining in that respect. Like he can just be alone talking to himself, and he can make you laugh. And Fassbender was really impressive in Steve Jobs. I'm glad that this is now the second time that, or right, because he was nominated for supporting actor in 12 Years a Slave.
Right.
Is this only his second acting nomination?
Yes.
Yeah. Regardless, I'm glad that he's becoming more of a staple at these things. Getting the recognition because for him, I think it's only a matter of time before he finally gets that project where he's able to really shine and finally get that trophy. Eddie Redmayne got it last year. Haven't seen The Danish Girl. I was going to ask you, have you heard Really, like anything that, like, is he getting a lot of buzz for this portrayal of this transgender character?
Not really.
From
The,
many years
the
ago.
movie itself isn't really getting that much buzz, and
Okay.
I think in order for an actor to win 2 Oscars in a row, they have to like own it the second year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have
That
to.
second time's got to be like, wow, that's even better than last year.
And I don't think that's the case
Okay.
here. I really hope Eddie Redmayne takes this, just calms the fuck down with these roles. And like, because I mean, hey, I haven't seen Danish Girl yet. I will, because I'm still interested in seeing it. But I don't know, something about him playing that role feels like a stunt, just as Leonardo in Revenant kind of felt like a stunt because it was so. It felt so proud of itself, the Revenant, in a way, like,
Yeah.
look what we did. You know what I mean? It's like, check out our vacation in the snow. We got really violent and drunk. This is what we did. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I was going to say, and you were going to say that.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say 2016, the year that that it's finally over. The slump, or what is it called in sports where you go years and years without winning?
The drought.
The drought. Thank you. The drought is finally over for Leo DiCaprio. He's finally going to get that award, and he'll probably use that time to tell us about some cause.
That would be
which is good.
Do you think he would pull a? I don't think he would. A Sasha
Brando?
Yeah, Marlon Brando. I don't think he does.
Little Feather. Or whatever.
Sasha Littlefeather. Right?
I think he gets up there, but I think he talks to us about more than just it's about damn time you guys gave me this thing. Yeah, but I'm happy for him because I think you and I both agree that he should have gotten it a couple years ago.
Right. I think that's definitely true.
Do you want to go to actor in a supporting role?
I'm not feeling Stallone for this one. Like I said, I think it's a case of like Mickey Rourke with The Wrestler, where it's like I don't think this is a comeback role.
Yeah.
I think it
was kind of like a novelty thing. Like, oh look, we thought Rocky was dead. We thought that franchise was over. Turns out it's not. And that's the big crime. This guy brought Rocky back. Ryan Coogler brought Rocky back, and it's an interesting story. The inspiration for the movie, it's a personal story, and that the press would eat that up, and people would be interested to hear about that if he got a nomination.
Yeah.
But he crafted the story, making this character that everybody had given up on in a way that got people excited again. And I went and saw it with my fiance, and she has never even seen a Rocky movie, and now she wants to go back and watch them all because she fell in love with this guy. She fell in love with Rocky because she loves old dudes. Just like old men are just adorable, and he's in there crying. He's got cancer. Anyway, so it was a good performance, but it seemed like a novelty performance. Like, it's not like I
If he won,
if he wins, I'll roll my eyes.
If he won, I'd be happy for him, but I don't think it was enough of a performance that like would have impressed the Academy to be like, wow, Stallone, it's time for him to get his due. I don't think the Academy is going to feel that way.
And in part because he's already gotten his due, hasn't he? Years ago when he came up with this story?
I mean, he didn't personally win an Oscar, but he did.
It won Best Picture.
It did win Best Picture. Yeah, he wasn't the producer on it, though. Irvin Winkler was, and somebody else. And, like, John G. Appleton won for Best Director.
So my question then becomes with Creed, if it's not Stallone, then is it Mark Rylance with his part? I mean, yeah, he was really good in Bridge of Spies, but was he good enough? Like, was he in that movie enough?
I would hope so. I mean, I feel like that's honestly, I feel like Mark Rylance's performance in Bridge of Spies is what Best Supporting Actor should be about. I feel that's what it's all about, because when the movie's over, I love Tom Hanks, but I was thinking about Mark Rylance and his performance.
Yeah,
And,
because he gets in that car and they don't give him a hug or
right.
anything. They just open the door for him.
You suddenly start to have like a real connection to him that surprises you, and he does an outstanding job, and it must not be understated. And you know, I think a great comparison is Barkat Abdi and Captain Phillips, who acted opposite Tom Hanks, and
Yeah.
and what I've heard and what I think Mark Rylance has even talked about is it's kind of a shame because Tom Hanks has gotten his due twice. He was the actor who won 2 years in a row for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, and
Yeah.
His best quality, it seems, is that he makes other actors look like best actors. You know, he made Barkat Abdi a pretty new actor. He played a big part in that whole process. Even though Barkat Abdi in itself, he gave it a fantastic performance. But it tells you something about Tom Hanks that like, here you are, Bridge of Spies, and his co-star gets nominated, and pretty much every scene Mark Rylance has is almost all of them are opposite Tom Hanks. So
Yeah.
I think
And he's great in every one. Mm-hmm. He's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would help?
I think it helps his case. I'm not sure if.
No, that's what he says in the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
his joke throughout the whole movie. Are you worried? Do you think it would help? Aren't you worried? It's just so charming.
Right. Hardy, no. Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about it before when we reviewed The Revenant, but it's just like I wanted more from that role.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad he was nominated because I do think he had the better performance. But as far as like, I feel like Hardy could do that role in his sleep, and he probably did. You know, the way it was written. You know what I mean? I feel like he has a monster performance. He's already given great performances in the past, but I think he's going to have a performance in the next couple of years, and so will Fassbender. And I feel like again, Fassbender already has, but I feel like both of them.
The best is yet to come.
You're going to know. When it happens, you'll know. Or maybe it'll be a Revenant situation where it's like, really, Fassbender? You're going to win for that movie? Or, you know what I mean? But they're going to have their due. Mark Ruffalo, he was really good in Spotlight. Again,
he was really good.
I think that's textbook supporting actor, you know? And there was like a tick to him. There was like
Well, hold on a second though. In Spotlight, who the hell's the lead actor? They all share time.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like it's really an ensemble piece.
They're all supporting actors. You know, that's kind of unfair. Because like I don't know who else. Lee Schreiber, or what's his name? Is it Lee Schreiber? He's kind of like not really in the movie that much. Michael Keaton really isn't that much. It's more about Ruffalo's character. Rachel McAdams, she and Keaton kind of go talk to that lawyer a couple times, but they're always together. And you see her when she's working with Ruffalo, but Ruffalo does a lot on his own where he's going to interview Stanley Tucci, and I don't know. If anything, I feel like he's the lead actor in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because it's an ensemble piece, everyone kind of gets their share of the spotlight. So I think that's why.
Ooh, that's a good one. Good job, man.
It's gonna be hard not to say that word, just to say it. You know what I mean?
And another ensemble with the Big Short. I mean, that's another one where you've got a bunch of actors working together, and I guess even though weren't you saying that you thought Steve Carell's performance was more impressive?
Yeah,
than Bale's?
I really think I thought Carell in The Big Short was a better performance than Carell in Foxcatcher.
Oh yeah, totally.
I feel like he was more in his element and still able to give a balanced performance.
He was so good in that first scene where he walks in like the was it anger management or some kind of like support group, and he just takes over. Like he might as well have been on the phone while he was going in there and talking to them. Like he's just totally oblivious, and he like I don't know. He was amazing in the movie. He was the movie.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if Bale was his performance strong enough to win best. I mean,
Is that that glass eye?
it's
That's
got to
what it
be
was.
because he does a lot of great stuff with the limited amount of work that he has. But he already
Yeah.
won for The Fighter a couple of years ago, and that was a case where, like, for a while there, you're like, Bale, when's Bale gonna win? And then The Fighter came, and you're like, there's not even a contest there. He's gonna win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was bound to happen for him, and it did. I don't think it happened second time for two times in like what 6 years, for 5 years. But the thing is, who wins then? I don't even know. Ruffalo maybe.
I'm thinking Mark Rylance.
Yeah, you thinking Mark Rylance?
I hope so.
That could be.
Probably Sly, but I really wanted to go to Mark Rylance.
I did.
Now that we've talked about it, like you totally convinced me. Because at first I thought maybe he wasn't in it enough, but you know.
I feel like he's the number two role for sure. As far as like, there's he has that emotional appeal. You know, he has a real, and like people were talking about him right when the movie came out. They're all like, Mark Rylance, he's amazing in this movie. Like, it was that kind of thing. The problem, unfortunately, is that like, I guess people kind of cooled off on Bridge of Spies. The Academy at least gave it a good number of nominations, but
it's not for Best Picture.
Huh?
It's up for Best Picture. You know, it's not going to win. But
I mean, and it got original screenplay. It's nice to see the Coens get like just nab another nomination for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
I mean, because Hail Caesar's not going to be that kind of movie, so it's just nice to see them get nominated again. Because they weren't nominated for Inside Llewyn Davis, so.
Oh, fuck off.
To stay with the narrative that Big Short wins Best Picture. Fuck. Am I going to do this? I don't know if I'm going to do this. You know what? Spotlight could do it too. Ruffalo has a good shot here. I mean, Ruffalo. Why not Ruffalo, right? I mean, I'm going to go.
This is a toss-up, man. This is
hard.
People were saying it's definitely going to be Sly. I'm not going to go. Neither are you. I mean, obviously we were talking about that, but I wouldn't go that far. I think it could be anybody except for Hardy, which is weird because I mean it's so strange to say that because Hardy is, such a talented actor and my favorite of that group, and well maybe not, I don't know, maybe it's Bale, but either way, it's strange to me that he's the one that I'm omitting, for that role.
I'm just gonna do it. Ruffalo, Spotlight. Final answer.
All right, I'm gonna stick with the other Mark. Mr. Rylance.
Let's go to actresses. Let's go to Best Actress.
Best Actress.
This is easy.
And then we'll finish. Yeah, this is simple. Which I'm glad we're getting this one out of the way. Because I wanted to ask you something about supporting roles. So, yeah, we got Cate Blanchett and Carol. And then we've got Rooney Mara for Carol. Oh, wait, no. It's Jennifer Lawrence for Joy. Charlotte Rampling for 45 Years. Saoirse Ronan, Brooklyn. And Brie Larson, Room. There's no bow to doubt it. It's going to be Brie Larson.
Yes, sir. And then supporting actress. This one is, I don't have no idea. I really don't. You got Jennifer Jason Leigh, Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara, Carol, Rachel McAdams, Spotlight, Alicia Vikander for Danish Girl, Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. Now I hear that of the two in Danish Girl, I hear Vikander has the more impressive performance. That's what I hear.
Okay.
And she definitely had a great year. And with supporting actors, that's the one category where like a cucumber. No, that's not it. A newcomer. Where a newcomer wins or like has the best shot at winning. So I could see Alicia Vikander winning.
It's like here, A Star Is Born. Let's get. I see what you're saying, especially with actress.
Mm-hmm. Because
I feel like with actor in a supporting role, it's always an old dude, but with actress, it's a young star.
Which
a new star.
That kind of tells you the nature of Hollywood, doesn't it? I mean that.
It does.
It just tells. Because when you look at Best Actress, Charlotte Rampling is kind of like in a league of her own. Because Blanchett she's in her mid-40s. But Rampling is what 50, late or early 60s maybe, and so like she's in a league of her own. We have Ronan, Lawrence, and Larson all under the age of 30. So I mean, and then for supporting actress, I think Jennifer Lacey Lee is the oldest one of the bunch, and she's probably what 50. So I don't know. I just because it's the nature of Hollywood. It has a lot of problems, but I mean, looking at this, because Rooney Mara is pretty much the lead in Carol.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, that's why I was joking before.
Yeah, this is a situation where I would say it's not right that she's in that category. She should be in lead.
Yeah.
Would I love it if she won? Absolutely, but I just, if Carol had Best Picture nomination, I'd feel more confident in its possible win here. But I also think that of the two, Kate Blanchett gives the more gaudy, showy performance.
Okay.
In a great way, I will say. But Rooney Mara is more of a passive character, but she also has a lot of great moments too. So whatever. Rich McAdams feels like the weak link of the bunch, even though she was great in Spotlight.
She was great in Spotlight, but yeah, it seems like kind of forgettable in the grand scheme of things with that movie.
Jennifer Jason Leigh would be personally my pick, because I think she was fantastic, and I think she deserves it. I think she's been around a long time. She deserves it, but I don't think it's...
I can only make a choice about 3 of these movies, and if I had, because I've only seen Hateful Eight, Spotlight, and Steve Jobs, and of those 3, I'd have to go with Jennifer Jason Leigh, just because she was amazing in the Hateful Eight, especially that close up where she's just covered in blood, and the camera it just locks in on her, and she owns it every second of it.
And even though Kate Winslet winning the Golden Globe for Steve Jobs felt like a pure Golden Globe moment. Like, they're just like, they love Winslet. They love her. The Hollywood Foreign Press loves Kate Winslet. I feel like she's won a bunch of Golden Globes. I feel like I've seen her do Golden Globe speeches at least once every other year.
Did she win for Revolutionary Road?
I think or The Reader.
The Reader. That's what. Yeah, she won for The Reader. That's right.
Yeah, she won the Academy Award for The Reader, and she won Golden Globe for sure. Because she won the Academy Award, 7 years ago. I mean, I just feel like, is her performance in Steve Jobs that impressive that she wins her second Academy Award for that? I don't think so. Yeah, she's won. Oh shit! Yeah, you're right though. For the Golden Globes, she won two Golden Globes in the same year for Revolutionary Road and The Reader. She won Best Actress in Motion Picture Drama and then Best Supporting Actress. So yeah.
Damn, really?
Yeah. So she has.
Those movies came out the same year, and she won for both roles. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's Golden Globes. Did she take home the Oscar for supporting actress too?
No, she won Best Actress for The Reader.
For The Reader.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so this is tough, man. I don't think she wins for Steve Jobs, even though she was really good in that movie. I'm gonna guess that it's either Vikander, because like we said before, here's a new star. And now the Academy gets to almost take responsibility for anointing her, or Jennifer Jason Leigh, because her performance is just that fucking good.
Yeah, I think it could be Jennifer Jason Leigh, because it's maybe
I'm circling it.
Maybe
because I didn't see The Danish Girl, so
maybe a month ago you would say Danish Girl, just because it's because the buzz for Vikander was there, and it obviously was strong enough for her to get nominated. Well, then, having said that, Hateful Eight kind of, if only it had grossed more, if only it had more, if only it lingered more in the box office. Unfortunately, and we haven't really talked about this, but it didn't do amazing in the box office.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a proper outro. All right, good Oscars conversation. I was hoping
Yeah.
not to just do Oscars, but we did. It happens.
Oh, okay, make me feel guilty before we say goodbye. That's real nice.
It was equal. I mean, I knew it was going slow as I was doing it, and I was like,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean?
We like
I could feel
yeah,
it going
but
slow.
by the time we got to like 45 minutes and we had only covered 4 categories, I was like, yeah, this isn't going to go very fast.
At least we've done enough recording that I think there's at least 80 minutes of good episode here. I hope so.
Yeah, there's got to be. There's got to be.
Mm-hmm. All right, Justin. Well,
All right, Ken.
next week, top 10s, right? You think you could do it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm excited. I've
I
been
think I
really
can.
looking forward to
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah, me too.
don't let me down.
It's always fun to do the top 10. It's like, even though the year's over now, it's been over for a while, almost a month. But, yeah, I do look forward to the top 10 list, and it was fun last year. It'll be fun again this year. I am sure of it.
I am more sure of it. So there you go. I win again.
Well,
All right.
You're superior.
All right. Okay. Now,
All right, for my friend Ken here, this is Justin, and you've listened to another fun-filled, informative episode of The Long Take, and we will be back again in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. That means before you know it.
oh, I guess I learned something new today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.